Hi, welcome.
Mhm.
We're so excited to be here with you today. My name is Rochelle and this is Pam. And we have a few of these that have already been posted. So go back and watch these if this is your first one, the other ones if this is your first one. And we want to talk to you today about emotional superpowers.
It's the passion that we have and the love that we have is helping to educate children from ages 4 to 104 about emotional health, which can add so that we can have happiness and meaning in life and find purpose. And we all need help with this in the day and age that we live in.
That's right. So today we're going to focus on something that we feel is one of the most important things that can happen as we gain emotional health and resilience, and that is to train our brain and to learn that our thoughts are the most powerful part of our emotions and can create our true self.
Yes. And so when we look at emotions, again, this is David Hawkins' scale of emotional vibration or calibration. And I'd like to maybe just spend just a minute. We've talked about it in almost every one of our classes. I think it's helpful for all of us to review. That's been presented here in just a different form. But I want you to understand that all thoughts and can be reduced to an energy wave or to a frequency. And then we can establish a number with it. So everything can be given a number because everything can be reduced to a frequency. So when you look at shame being the lowest vibrating or calibrating emotion, it's very sluggish, it's very slow. And then peace and enlightenment and truth are higher vibrating emotions, more like the speed of light. And so you can just see that one is faster and one is slower. And that's a way to just help you understand emotions and how important they are. And the heavy emotions weigh us down. They are sluggish and slow. And today we're going to be talking about how to pull ourselves from the heavy, sluggish emotions into a higher vibrating, elevated state of being.
First time I saw this chart, Pam, I got chills. It was like, it was truth being spoken, and I could very, very quickly recognize that I had some work to do and that I was being handed this power, very, very powerful information.
And being educated about emotional health can then help us so that we can do something good with our heavy feelings. And that's just it. When you can recognize that, wow, I'm in a lot of fear right now, what could I do to help pull me out of fear? I might be able to check in with my self-talk and recognize that I'm predicting the future as a terrible outcome, and maybe I could stop some of that self-talk and start to focus on reinforcing positive affirmations. I can do this. I feel secure with what I can do. I trust my decisions. That kind of awareness is exactly what we're teaching in these webinars.
And those beautiful recreations of thoughts then change the chemistry in our brains and throughout our body, which create the emotion and help us to take control of our own happiness.
Very good.
This is the superpower that we talked about last week. So go back and watch that if you haven't yet. Love. And this week we're going to talk about train your brain.
And by the way, love calibrates at 500. So when you're offering comfort or serving somebody else, that automatically raises the vibration in your emotional state of being to 500, and it can pull you out of shame or apathy or being lethargic or not feeling well. By being aware of other people's needs and serving or service can help move us up the scale to 500. Okay.
So we want to talk about train your brain, true self. The first time I had this experience was when I was about 16, and I realized that I had a core belief about money that wasn't serving me well, and my thought processes were really keeping me stuck there. And so when I recreated a new mantra for myself that was true about money, it changed instantly how I felt. So we have this darling little story in the book about a little girl who, Kim's story, and she has things in her life that she loves with her whole heart, her whole soul. She loves her family. She loves good food. She loves to dance. She loves math, and she loves how shiny her hair is. And one day, as she's enjoying playing with a friend, she tells this friend about how much she loves to dance, and the friend says, but you don't have dancer legs. And the next few days, Kim realizes, without even really understanding how much that affected her, she stops seeing how bright and shiny her hair is in the sun. She doesn't enjoy math. She sits and picks at her food during dinner time, and she doesn't even really want to be around her family. So at that point, she says, wait a minute, I have the tools that I need. I have my superpowers to understand why I'm feeling this way. So she gets in a really quiet, meditative place with her yoga, and she uses her oil, the Focus Blend oil that we love so much, called Thinker, because she really wants to understand what has happened. And in this meditative state, she just quietly asks, why am I feeling this way? Why don't I like all the things that I used to love so much? What has happened? And she remembers almost instantly that phrase that friend said, you do not have dancer legs. And then she realizes that she believed it, and gives herself permission to unbelieve it. And she just says out loud, wait a minute, dancer legs are legs that love to dance. And so she dances down the street, and she goes to tell her friend that everything's fine and she's going to keep dancing regardless of how this friend feels about her legs.
I love that.
Yes, it really was such an empowering moment for Kim, and it's based on a true story, and it's time for us to give these tools to children everywhere and to ourselves.
Yes, and to start to recognize when we're doing that to ourselves. And I'm going to ask the question, what is the condition of your mind space? What kind of thoughts are playing 24/7 over and over and over again in your mind? And are they judgmental, critical? Are they self-sabotaging? Do you see yourself as small or not really worthy or valuable and making a contribution in the world? And you know what? We want to move those negative thoughts out of the way and stand in our true self and hold on to our worth and value. Our opinion is really the only one that matters about how we see ourselves. And I feel like that when we're holding on to the truth about what we love and our true worth and value, everybody else's thoughts can kind of bounce off of us and not have an impact if we're strong and have trained our brain to hold on to our true self.
I love that.
So yes. So I want you to know that everyone, in order to feel valuable, everyone needs something to do, a responsibility, some way to contribute. Everyone needs someone to love, and everyone needs something to hope for. I want to just reaffirm that when we are feeling down or depressed or sad, oftentimes we've lost some sense of hope. We don't have something to hope for, something to look forward to. And because of that, we go into a place where we make choices that move us away from our true self. For example, if I don't have hope for the future, I might move into a self-destructive pattern and maybe see myself as small or not valuable, and I might get trapped in addiction or in abusive relationships because I'm not seeing my value and I don't have anything to hope for in my future as to what I believe could be mine. And so I start making choices that move me away from my true self. And that's called self-betrayal, when we actually discount our worth and value or can't see our true self. And through the pain of self-betrayal, we then start to see, oh, I am of value. I don't deserve to be abused. I am worthy of having my dreams come true. When we hold on to that space, it increases faith. Let's go to the next one. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
And Pam, I have had a really interesting experience these last few days as I've been thinking about this and preparing, and I've actually talked to 3 people, and I'm going to get a little emotional about this because each of those 3 people shared with me how they just simply didn't have any hope. One person who was pretty neglected and abused from before she was even born. Her mother didn't want her, and she said to me, Rochelle, when someone says to me, close my eyes and imagine something in my mind, something that may have happened, something that I hope happens in the future. She said, I don't have any way to see anything. It's just dark. There's just blackness. And that's how she's lived her whole life. And another friend who, through no fault of her own, and a man through no fault of his own, everyone comes by this honestly, came to a place because her health was so critical and there was so much issue with whether she was even going to live or not, that she just didn't have anything to dream about or hope for. Mm-hmm. So this is something that all of us can look at and not with any self-criticism whatsoever. Hopelessness comes because of the events of our lives or the miasms that have been passed down through generations that we get to overcome. We get to break these chains and we get to create hope.
I love that. The pituitary gland, actually, when it's underactive, it comes from a place of faithlessness and lack of faith. And then when it's balanced, it will be able to hold on to faith, and you'll be able to see things and dream and have hope for your future. And again, because of past pain, sometimes that's blocked. But when we can use our superpowers and use our oils or journaling or visualization or stories, then a meditation, then all of a sudden some things can shift inside of us and the state of our mindset can change. And with hope, it means actually to return to how we were as little children in our purest, most authentic, true self. The things that we loved to do as children, we still love to do as adults. If we can return to some of those activities, some of those passions, and do them on the side. I love to watercolor. I've mentioned that a couple times. That creative part of me is part of my childlike self. That helps me connect to my true self. I want you to think about ways that you can connect to your true self, not the negative self-talk in your mind and think that that's your identity, because it is not, but to your authentic, true desires of what you love and what you have passion about. That's where your strengths are. We want you to focus in those areas. In fact, I have a story. Well, we're going to just go through this really quickly.
Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations.
Again, be aware of that language. Replace it with affirmations. Even if you have to write it down on a card, put it on your mirror and start saying them so that they become a habit. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you really quickly, there's a mom and she has her kids in the back of her van say affirmations every day as they're driving to school.
I love that.
And one little girl, she struggles, she has dyslexia, and she struggles with reading, and she's in first grade, but she says, I love to read, and she says it every day, even though she's in resistance to it, it starts to help to change her mindset, the condition of her mindset.
Beautiful.
Now, really quickly, I just have this story, and we'll go to the next one. Yes, so there are lots of ways to train your brain, and I heard this story yesterday. It was a great story. It was about a young man. He was a teenager. He loved snowboarding, and they were, he and his buddies were out off the trail because the trail had been like really packed snow and it wasn't that fresh powder, and they'd gone off into the trees. And he said he had to focus so hard not to hit the trees because the trees were getting closer and more narrow together. When he got to the bottom of the hill, he was so afraid to hit one of those trees. When he got to the bottom of the hill, his friend said, hey, don't focus on the trees. Focus on the space between the trees. And when you focus on the space between the trees, you'll be able to more easily move through those trees and snowboard with more joy and less fear. I'm going to propose that as we let go of our need, the habit that we have to focus on the obstacles, then we can open up to see the space between the obstacles and to see really a path open up for us as we make movement emotionally, as we move emotionally. And I wanted to share that story because I felt like that it really connected with what we were trying to talk today about training our brain and training what we focus on.
We hope that parents will do the same. We all know, and I heard this, I was reminded of this with my grandson and my son yesterday when I said, no, James. And his dad said, Mom, do you know how many more times a child is told no than yes? So we're working, he said, I was so
There
proud
we
of him.
go.
We're working on making sure we don't cut off that creative part of the brain, because every time a child hears no, and this is true for us as adults too,
Yes, yes.
every time a child or a human hears no, we shut down part of our creative genius. We're all
Yes.
born with creative genius. We have that.
We are.
And we want to keep that alive.
For sure. So I hope that this has been inspirational, offered some insight as you go into your day today and into your week. We want you to remember your emotional superpowers, and that is that you have power to train your brain to elevate your thoughts and feelings, and to focus on the good and the things that are working, and you'll get more of it.
And all of these tools here and products we have put together so that you can share this movement with someone else. We hope that you'll share it with your family, of course, and friends, and we hope that you'll consider having a book review or a train the presenter class, because we're just now training our presenters to learn how to teach this class. And in fact, we have all of these different options for you to move into. They've been a little bit startup.
We've been a little delayed, but we're getting things ready, and this week that information will be available.
Yes, we're so excited about this. So make sure you go to emotionalsuperpowers.com and register your email for the free webinar and the free newsletter. Leave a testimonial or a comment. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Emotional Superpowers on YouTube. Visit our website to join our monthly, I already talked about that, and the upcoming classes and training events. We have one this week at the end of the week that's a 3-day event that's going to be Train the Trainer. So
Yes.
those people who are able to attend this class, either in person or on our live stream, you will have the opportunity to learn what to do in order to take this in a really big way and become part of this movement, so that you can grow your business and share these amazing insights. And send us questions in advance before this next week's webinar also.
Sure. So we appreciated you that you've joined us. Keep your thoughts elevated. Be aware of your mindset, and make sure that you're managing that and that it's not managing you.
That's right. And also, if you haven't received, oh, did you already turn it off? If you haven't received this, we want to make sure that you get this. We can email it to you. We send it now with every book, because it's the oils aligned with each superpower, the new kids oils, and we're super excited about how this is all fit together.
Yes.
So let us help you in any way we can. Bye.
Bye-bye.